Hey everyone, welcome back to another Tip Tuesday video. My name is Denise and I'm also known as heywigsister on Instagram and Facebook. Today I am here to bring you a quick tip that might help you in your wig wearing journey. Every Tuesday, God willing, I've got content. I'll try to bring you a short Tip Tuesday video with some little tips that I think could be helpful to you. Today's tip is about trimming a lace front. And I'd like to talk really briefly about why you might want to trim a lace front, because most of the wigs that you guys are wearing, likely if you're on my channel, are the ready to wear wigs that the lace fronts are already pre-trimmed and ready to go. But there may be times when you'll want to trim the lace front a little more. And so I'd like to tell you a little bit about that today. Now, I'm in my bathroom. It may be a little echoey in here, so I apologize for that, but it's a little bit easier for me to just do a quick video in here. I don't have to set up lighting, and since I'm going to be cutting it, I like to have my counter right here. For those of you who've been around for a while, this is the bathroom that had all that striped green wallpaper. We have done so much work to this bathroom. Just got a shower door installed. It's looking awesome. No more green wallpaper. I'm super excited. So just wanted to throw that out for those of you who've been watching my videos for a while. Okay, so the wig on my head is Main Attraction Fortune, and I just recently released a video on this one, a review. So if you're curious about Fortune, check out that review. I'll link it in the description so that you can learn more about this wig. She's super cute. I love her. I've worn her a lot. But I thought this could be a good one to show because she does have a little bit of a longer lace front, which would lend itself to a little bit of trimming. So let's just talk about, before I show you this lace and then get to trimming, why would you want to trim a lace front? Well, I don't know, for those of you who adhere your wigs with its stays or other types of adhesive, I don't know if you've ever noticed this before, but I sure have. Sometimes when you wear a wig, while you can't see the lace exactly because it's transparent, what you can see is a line of demarcation where that lace is, because it's pressing into your forehead. So I don't know if you've ever noticed that before, but maybe take a look at it and see if it's something that happens to you occasionally. It doesn't happen with all wigs, but sometimes where that lace front is, you can see where mine is right here. If it's adhered and it's on there, you might be able to see a little bit of a line of demarcation right there where it's pressing into your forehead. Now, can anyone else see that? I think it's doubtful. I think some of the things that we notice with wigs, only we notice. I'm really doubting that anybody else sees it, but if you see it, that's enough for you to be thinking about it. So that might be one reason why you might want to trim a lace front back. Another reason why you might want to trim a lace front is because it isn't super transparent on you. I have gotten wigs before where the lace was a little bit too light for my skin, and so I could really see it. Or it could be too dark for your skin. There could be a lot of reasons why a ready to wear lace front isn't perfect for you, and you might want to trim it. Another reason is it's starting to fray. You might notice a little fraying happening on your lace, and in order to stop it from getting worse, you might want to trim it up a little bit. So those are a few reasons. There could be others as well. I know sometimes with lace fronts, if you wear a lot of makeup like foundation and bronzer and things like that, you can get it on the lace, and trimming that lace back a little bit gives you less of that problem. That could be another reason to trim the lace. So there's lots of reasons why people might want to trim their lace fronts. So when you do decide to trim your lace front, how in the world do you go about it? Well, my preference when I trim a lace front is to use a pinking shears. I just got these on Amazon, and a pinking shears, for those who don't know it, are the ones that have these kind of scalloped edges. I purchased these on Amazon. I can link them. They're nothing special. I know John Renault makes a pair of pinking shears like 5 times the price of these, but you know, when you've got an investment such as a wig, we pay a lot of money for these wigs. Some of these wigs are $400 or $500 or more, and so you really want to be careful with them. And oftentimes that's why you're willing to pay more for name brand items, because you've already paid so much for the wig. Personally, I have found these to work just fine. My one complaint about pinking shears is they're very thick, very big, and kind of unwieldy they can be a little challenging to use. John Renault recommends that you use pinking shears when trimming the lace on a John Renault wig, because the lace is what is called a welded lace, and it's crisscrossed on how it's welded together. So using a pinking shears will maintain the integrity of the welding and will prevent additional fraying or the lace from stretching out in the future. This is what John Renault teaches. Because of that, I have just used pinking shears on all the lace fronts whenever I've trimmed a wig. And like I've said, I haven't always trimmed wigs. Some wigs are just, actually, I'll be honest with you guys, to find a wig for this video, I struggled because I've trimmed a few of my wigs already. And so I was looking through all of my wigs that I hadn't trimmed yet, and quite a few of them, the lace was already so short on them, I couldn't trim them because I would be trimming right into hair. So, I will tell you that Estetica, I trim Estetica laces quite often. I find that theirs are a little bit longer lace fronts and lend themselves really well to trimming. I will also tell you guys that I have seen comments in the Facebook groups that you should never use pinking shears because it will cause fraying. I've seen comments in the Facebook groups that you should never trim lace because it will cause fraying. I have seen comments that using pinking shears is less realistic because it creates a wavy line. Personally, I think it's more realistic because the lace is already supposed to be melting into your head. So now you don't have a straight line of demarcation where that might be. With the waviness, it just eliminates that altogether. So I personally think the wavy line looks a lot more realistic, but I just want to throw those out there because you will get as many opinions about this as there are people. Trimming the lace on these wigs is a little bit of a controversial issue. So it's another one of those tips that I'm going to give you where I say proceed at your own risk, proceed with caution. I'm just telling you what I have read, what I've done, and I do a lot of wig research because of this channel. And so that's why I'm in so many Facebook groups as well and on Instagram, because I want to learn from others. And then I compile all that information to help as I'm talking to you. So I will just tell you, I am comfortable trimming a lace front and I've done it many times. So let's just take a look at this one. It isn't a bad lace. This is, first of all, it's a really good lace front as far as how realistic it is. The only thing is that this lace is a little bit thicker, so you can see the thickness of it from the bottom to where the hair starts. I had quite a few wigs that I pulled off the shelf where there was not that much room. So I think one of the number one rules of thumb when trimming your lace, proceed slowly and do as little as possible. You don't want to trim it too much because you could affect the integrity of that lace. Now, with the lace that I've trimmed in the past, I've had no issues with it fraying or stretching. But, you know, I don't trim all my wigs. And so, you know, again, proceed with caution. So the trickiest part when trimming the lace is how to hold it because you don't have a lot of room to work with. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to figure out how to show this because it's going to be really hard for me to hold it up high and trim it. So I'm going to stop this for a second and see if I can rearrange this camera maybe a little bit lower so I can show it to you a little bit easier. Okay. Wish me luck. The camera angle was a little challenging. So here we go. This is the wig and I've turned it inside out. And so I find it's a little bit easier if I turn it inside out and then I just flip the lace around. That way I can really maintain and see what I'm doing. Some people will put it on a wig head and do it that way. There's so many different ways to do it. You're just gonna have to figure out which way works out best for you. So I've got it on my lap and I've got it, might be easier to do it on a table, you know, so now what I'm gonna do, depending on how much you're gonna trim, will dictate whether or not you have to start all the way at the edge. I am not going to start all the way at the edge on this one. I don't feel I need to. I feel like it's very narrow at the edge. I'm gonna start a little bit further down and I'm just gonna start trimming it just the tiniest little bit. And so what I need to do is I need to determine, am I more comfortable going from one way or from the other way? So I'm gonna kind of test it out both ways. Once you get started, it's easy. Well, sort of easy. It's just the getting started that's the challenge. So you can see I'm just trying to feel out where's the hair, where am I gonna trim? You want to try not to get any of the at the hairline at all, which is why I mentioned it's a little tricky with pinking shears. Okay, so I found my spot, and now I'm just going to hold the hair and I'm just going to start trimming. Hopefully I'm getting it in the camera there. I can't really look at both at the same time because I don't want to do too much. Now again, I'm trying just to do the tiniest bit. I don't want to do too much. Sometimes just the littlest bit is all it takes. See, I got a little bit of it there. There's actually a piece of lace right there. It just takes the littlest bit to make the difference. Okay, so in the cut, when I stopped the cut, I actually stopped and I didn't cut it fully off right there. So now I got to get back in here and just cut that little bit off. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it flat and I'm holding the hair back. I'm going to grab the scissors here and I'm just going to find, again, go real slow. I want to make sure I don't leave any bit that could fray. Okay, so I got it. So now I'm just going to look. And I see a little piece here that I didn't cut terribly evenly. So now I'm going to go back in there. And now I'm holding the hair back again. And I'm just going to try to even that out a little. All right. Just slightest bit. See? I hardly cut anything, but just enough, just that little bit is going to help a ton. And is going to eliminate a little bit of that extra lace that was there. All right, let me put it on for you guys. Okay, I am back. The wig is on, and let's take a look at the lace. You can see it's a little scalloped. And it melts right in. I honestly believe it looks better. I can't see any of the shine I saw before. There's not going to be a line of demarcation there at all. It's great. And that was all it took. Well, she's all messy now. That's okay. That was all it took. So to sum up, there may be times when you're struggling with the lace front on a wig. It could be that it's too long, it's too thick, the color's not quite right, it's a little shiny, it's starting to get a little frayed for whatever reason. And there may be times when you will consider whether or not trimming your lace front is prudent. It doesn't work for all wigs, some wigs don't need it, but it is an option. It is a viable option, and it is an option that many women employ. Just proceed with caution. Proceed very slowly. I recommend using a pinking shears, but I know a lot of women who use straight scissors with no problem. And the hardest part is the first cut, really. It's not even because you're afraid to screw it up. It's because it's really hard. The angles are really hard to get because the lace is so small. I mean, there isn't a lot of it. And if you're using a pinking shears like I did, they're very thick and hard to navigate. Once you get cutting, it's a lot easier. It's just really finding that first cut, that first comfortable angle. And the parts around here are gonna always be even harder because they're usually a lot closer in. That's where pinking shears become a real challenge. But just, you know, don't be afraid. I think these Tip Tuesdays are here to encourage you guys. Do not be afraid to play with your wigs, to test some things out, to try some new things. If you're super, super, super afraid to ruin a wig, please consider buying some super cheap wigs on Amazon or eBay to practice on. You know, get a $15 wig off of Amazon that says it has a lace front and practice on it. It's better than, you know, ruining a more expensive wig, or it's better than not doing anything at all. You know, consider, just chalk that $15 up to your wig education fund. That's kind of what I did. What I consider my first 18 months of wig wearing was when I got my master's degree in wigs. I'm serious. I spent a lot of money, and that's why I'm here today, because I spent so much money and I learned so much. I'm not telling you guys to do that. I don't recommend it, but it you know, I'm using it for good. So please let me know if this was helpful to you. Have you considered cutting your lace? Does this encourage you maybe to do it? Have you cut your lace and it worked out great? Please share that with people. What do you do? How do you cut your lace? Did you cut your lace and it was a disaster? What did you learn from it? I just would love to hear in the comments anything about cutting lace. What are your thoughts on this topic? If this Tip Tuesday was helpful to you, please like this video, subscribe, you know, support my channel, and I'll keep trying to bring Tip Tuesday content to you. If you have any suggestions, let me know. This Tip Tuesday was suggested by a wig sister. I already had it on my list, but I moved it up to the #1 spot because I got an email today asking to do this video. So here you go. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.